Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today we're going to talk about the town hall one more time. We're going to talk about Aggroed, answering questions from the FAQ portion. And in this, we're going to have a question about soulbound reward cards and how should they be calculated when calculating how much profit or earnings you can extract from your wins. Because certain cards diminish your rewards, like ghost cards. Should these soulbound cards diminish the profits that are available to you for your time and attention? That's the topic that the question is probing, and Aggroed is really clear about his answer. I want to listen to his answer and I want to respond on the topic and add some thoughts of my own. I think this is an important topic because it boils down to whether or not we have too many cards in this ecosystem. People always say that. I think you're wrong. Let's listen to what Aggroed has to say. Let's talk more about it. Thanks, guys. Let's get into it. So the question is going to be around soulbound reward cards and the fact that because they're quote unquote easy to get, that's the implication, because they're easy to get, that will lower demand for pack buying and for other cards. And he's saying the question is going to be like, should we diminish the rewards that are capable of being earned through those cards because of that? And so we'll listen to Aggie speak the question and then respond. He's really clear. He doesn't think that we need to be worried about this. And so am I, but for different reasons. So let's get into it.
Soulbound. To mitigate the effect of the soulbound reward cards and the demand of pack buying, would it be possible to treat soulbound reward cards as ghost cards in the reward equation by reducing the rewards given for soulbound reward cards versus unlocked cards that you can directly pay fiat for? If this was implemented, you could pay to unlock the cards and it would gain its normal reward equation. This would also encourage unlocking of cards in the future versus just selling accounts.
I think there's something there around, before I let Aggie speak, there is something accurate or interesting around maybe inviting us to pay fiat to unlock the cards, but just the whole the tone is underlined or based upon the supposition that being able to earn through these free cards is going to be problematic. And that's the crux where Aggroed just cuts to it, and you'll hear his response now.
My thought here is that we're looking at a couple different ways in land 1.5 where we would allow infinite staking of cards, to compete for the SPS pool for land, to compete for Praetoria's Secret. I was about to say Victoria's Secret, but it's Praetoria's Secret or the Secret of Praetoria. And then maybe in this one other circumstance where there's some battling over kind of commonly used tokens in the land environment that are different from sort of the harvestable resources of individual plots. So if anything like that kind of comes together, and we'll see more of these things in the land post that I hope is out by the end of the month, there's going to be more syncs than you could possibly imagine. And like the little bit of ghost cards that we're giving, especially since they're not transferable and they're just for your account, it won't matter. You just won't have enough cards to do all the things that you want to do, because literally you could use 3 times the amount of cards in existence plus whatever else has to go on land in order to go work the monsters. It's just, there's an insatiable need for cards that comes in Q2. So a little bit of ghost cards, I don't feel like is a big thing. I can understand why you feel that now. Everything feels like, there's way too much Chaos Legion, and there's too many reward cards, and there's too many of these things going out. But we're just a couple months away from like massive freaking sinks. So hang tight, and the people that understand math and understand how that works, I think we'll do well.
Unlimited staking possibilities for the cards. 3 times the total cards that exist could be staked. Like the sentences that were just uttered and the what that would mean for the availability of cards on the rental market, on the purchase market, on Peak Monsters to buy, or to like the few soulbounds you're able to put together through play. It's just, and this is such a common concern. This question is raised in a million ways. Whether it's talking about how soulbound reward cards are going to undermine the earning, sort of the future of Splinterlands reward payouts, because the bots they're gonna extract soulbound reward cards, and then they're only gonna play with those, and they're never gonna rent again, and they're gonna be self-sufficient. It's just, honestly, it sounds like fear mongering to me. And you might say, Dwayne, you're just doing what you do, which is you're over bullish, you're over excited. Maybe. But I'm telling you now, when I listen to Aggroed say that all of the cards in existence aren't enough, when I hear him say that there's going to be certain conditions on certain types of land where you'll have unlimited staking potential for the cards that can go in there. And I know what some of the whale community is like in this. And to seek after certain, I don't know, titles or abilities or whatever that come out of that staking opportunity, they will be pursued hotly, meaning tons of assets will be poured into those staking opportunities. And there aren't enough cards. And so again, it's like, I talked about the bots and what they're going to do with soul bounds, but you've heard people say there's 15 million Chaos Legion packs. It's way too many. They're never going to go up. The reward cards, the more recent reward cards, not the soul bound, but before that with like the Pellicor Mercenary, Pellicor Conjurer, they're far too common and they'll never appreciate. This is such nonsense that's entirely wrong on the face of it, because one, they are limited in number and they're always shrinking in number. Plus there is some growth in the player base, and you have to expect, if you're like me, that this game will see exponential player growth during seasons of excitement and FOMO. And if that's so, then you will see price appreciation regardless of whether it's 15 million or 50 million. But more than that, these cards are completely, woefully inadequate to supply the predicted need, the foreseeable need of the assets that we know about on land. And that's not saying anything about other use cases that will come. I don't know what's going to happen with tower defense, but do we need to stake? I think there's some component there of staking with our cards. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with GLG, but is there something going on there? I don't know what's going to happen with, Splinter Forge, but will there be elements of this too? Are there different ways that we aren't even aware of yet that will add to what Aggroed just said? Because Aggroed just said there's not even close to enough. And you either don't believe him, and if you don't believe him, really, I don't know why you're investing in Splinterlands. But if you do believe him, then wow, that should really shake any of these debates we keep having and we keep hearing about, what bots are going to do and how they're going to be self-sufficient because of soulbound cards. Nope. Or how there's too many Chaos Legion because 15 million is a big number. Nope. Or because these reward cards are so, so prolific, there's so many copies that they'll never see appreciation. Wrong. It's just like, even just from land, which we're talking about at the end of February, which is a week away, can we expect, and are we being told that we'll be able to see a more clear, realized picture of the demand for cards being set up within this new land 1.5? And then we are probably months away from a real execution of what it would look like to move into proper, full usefulness of the land. Because Nate talked about that in this town hall. We're probably months away before that's really kind of being fleshed out. But they're looking for elements of the land that could be released kind of without breaking the broader plan and release. Because and there wasn't a lot of detail there. But again, do you trust this team or not? Do you believe what they're saying or not? Because if the sentiment is they're liars, they're wrong, it's never going to happen, there'll never be appreciation, why are you here? You know what I mean, guys? Like, and I don't think I'm speaking to you, person who's still here listening to this whole video, but don't you get the sentiment? Don't you get the sense that in this bear market, there's still hangers on who are sharing that sort of negative sentiment? And I don't get it. I don't get it. So let's just see where we are in 6 months. Heck, let's see where we are in 6 weeks, because when we start to really see what this land thing is going to do, I think you start to see the beginnings of a beginning to the recognition that what he just said is true. There aren't enough cards. And if that is so, if he's being honest and he's accurate and his suggestion is fair and accurate from what they actually end up releasing, I see price appreciation in the medium to long term. And that's not even because of all the reasons that I believe in long-term price appreciation, right? Just the limited number and the growing audience. That whole argument that it's fun and has a future is like in the background as a foundation. And then added to that is the fact that there's these sources of, usefulness where your cards just get devoured and there's not even close to enough supply. So I am crazy excited by that one comment, and it really I felt it merited its own video, because I just think we continue to hear these different narratives. There's too many cards, there's too many rewards, there's too many Chaos Legion packs, there's too many, but I don't know, guys. I mean, either, I feel as though the answer is really, if you're in that boat, I don't know why you're still here, but if you are in that boat, you're thinking there's way too many assets, and yet you continue to be, I guess, listening to even this video, I would just encourage you to weigh what Aggroed is saying, and wrestle with the conversation of is he likely lying about this? Is he mistaken? Or are there not enough cards to use on the land? And if that's true, I feel like the conversation's over, unless somehow land is a failure. Is in your mind, is that a real possibility? To me, that's not even on the table. So I'm super excited, and I just don't really get, I guess, the bearishness around card ownership, or even the amount of cards in existence, because that there's a bearishness to it. And I hope that this will help, I don't know, give you a different side of that picture, because I do think there's a strong justification for the future price appreciation over a long time horizon for the card assets in this game, whether they are massively issued, such as, for instance, Chaos Legion was the biggest release ever, or whether the reward cards that were like Oceanus and whatnot, Oceanus is one of the most released legendary cards. It doesn't matter. There's not enough. And so I feel strongly about that. And I hope that I've helped further justify my own opinions on that within this context, and based on the strength of I guess Aggroed's vision and plan for our game. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.